Hello everyone! Today we are going to be reading The Magical Tale of Ben and Holly. Let's start reading! Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom. There's the map. The Magical Tale of Ben and Holly, written by Neville Astley and Mark Baker. Royal Fairy Family Tree. Nanny Plum, she's dusting the window. This is King and Queen Thistle. These are Holly's little sisters, Daisy and Poppy. And this is Holly, Princess Holly. Elf Family Tree. This is Mr. and Mrs. Elf, the wise old elf here, Ben Elf, and Gaston the Ladybird. Once upon a time, hidden behind thorny brambles, there was a land of elves and fairies that was called the Little Kingdom. Everyone who lived here was very, very small. Holly was a fairy princess. She lived with her mommy and daddy in a tiny castle called the Little Castle. Being a fairy, Holly had wings and a magic wand. Hi, I'm Holly. Look, she's peeping out of the window. But being a young fairy, Holly was still learning how to fly and do magic spells. Ooh, what happened? Whoops! Oh no, why isn't it working? Very often, her spells didn't work out quite as she expected. Eek! Holly's best friend was Ben Elf. Ben lived on the other side of the Little Kingdom in a hollowed-out oak tree called the Great Elf Tree. In fact, all the elves lived in the Great Elf Tree. I'm an elf! Toot! Hello, Ben! Squeak! Being an elf, Ben didn't do magic and he didn't have wings, but he was very good at running, jumping, climbing, and making things, especially toys. Ben and Holly's special friend was Gaston the Ladybird. Gaston lived in a smelly cave and was a bit like a dog. He liked to bark, ruff, ruff. He liked to fetch sticks. He liked to eat smelly food. He liked to roll onto his back and have his tummy tickled. Remember how everyone who lived in the Little Kingdom was very, very small? Well, they were really small. Gaston walking on the banana. Look at how big he is compared to the banana. Woof! But that didn't stop Ben and Holly from having big adventures. This is Ben standing on a carrot and Holly with a tomato. One day, Holly's mommy and daddy, King and Queen Thistle, decided it was time for Holly to have some proper magic lessons. Royal Nanny wanted. They sent out word that they were looking for a magic nanny. Several fairies applied for the job, but only one was just right. She was called Nanny Plum. Nanny Plum. Nanny Plum taught Holly and the other fairy children how to do spells. Abracadabra! Wow! Zig, zag, zig! Make it big! But sometimes even Nanny Plum's spells went a bit wrong. Ugh! What's that snail doing here? Birdie wordy! Ah! Croak, croak! Ben was taught by a wise old elf who was called the Wise Old Elf. He was wise, he was old, and he was an elf. Elves, especially the wise old elf, didn't approve of magic. No flying or magic, please. Nanny Plum and the wise old elf disagreed about a lot of things, especially when it came to teaching the children. But really deep down, they were friends. Ho ho ho! Ha ha ha! Sometimes Nanny Plum needed non-magic help from the elves, and sometimes the wise old elf needed some magic help from the fairies. Fairies and elves were often friends in the little kingdom, and Ben and Holly were the best of friends. At the end of each day, Ben and Holly would say goodnight to each other and go back to their homes. Good night, Ben. Good night, Holly. Safely tucked in bed, Holly would tell her daddy about the spell she learned. Then King Thistle would read her a story. Cozy in his bed, Ben would tell his mommy about the things he made that day. Then Mrs. Elf would read him a story. And warm and snug in his basket, Gaston would fall asleep in his lovely, messy, smelly cave. Zzz. Gaston. The end. Once upon a time, hidden in the thorny brambles, there was a magical place called the Little Kingdom. The Little Kingdom was full of tiny elves and fairies who were all friends, and there were no better friends than Ben and Holly. This storybook is the perfect introduction to the enchanted world of Ben the elf, Holly the fairy, and their special friend Gaston the Ladybird. Bye everyone! Hope you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and see you tomorrow. Bye!